My name is Martin Guinness and I'm a filmmaker. Recently I had been asked to travel to several countries to shoot a music video for the Audrey Hepburn Children's Fund and UNICEF. This brought me face to face with some of the terrible poverty that still exists today. But looking around me, I was frequently amazed by the children. I wanted to find out about their optimism, about their hopes and dreams, about what it means to live in the kind of poverty that is handed on from one generation to the next. So, I went on a journey to 7 different countries to meet 7 children so I could see for myself what life is like for them living in poverty. India is a country with more children than any other nation on earth. Hundreds of millions of children who somehow manage to survive the high rate of infant mortality often live in a squalor I could never have imagined, without even the most basic services such as toilets, clean water or soap. For millions of girls, generation-old traditions will mean they will marry early, will never see a doctor, and will never receive proper education. I find Sangeeta in a shanty town. Her parents are construction workers and live with their co-workers right on the construction site.
My name is Sangeeta.
My name is Sangeeta Rivapa Desai. I am 9 years old. I have 3 sisters, Mahadevi, Vidya and Savitri. They are all younger than me. I look after them when my parents are at work.
Sangeeta takes me into the shanty town where she lives. Inside the minuscule home, there is no furniture and it's almost pitch black.
Can I film inside?
The community is chaotic, but it's warm and friendly. Is life hard for your parents?
Yes, but I don't know why.
When construction of the buildings is completed, the workers tear down their little shanty town and, if they're lucky, they all move together to the next site where they rebuild it. There are no health and safety regulations for Sangeeta's parents, who, in spite of both working full-time, are still unable to climb out of the poverty cycle. The kids too would work on the site if it wasn't for Mobile Creches, an organisation funded by various NGOs. They provide somewhere safe for the children to go during the day and prevent the construction companies from insisting that the children work also.
I wake up early in the morning. I brush my teeth. Then I take a bath and brush my hair. Because I'm the oldest, I have some jobs to do at home. I bring water and I wash the dishes. In the hut, it's very hot. And then I sweep the house, which gets very dusty. About 9 o'clock, the adults go to work on the construction site. And my sisters and I go across the road to the mobile creche.
Inside the dark building, there are 3 large groups of children, and the noise is deafening.
I like to sing, and sometimes I play the tambourine. We say our morning prayers together.
The creche is run by local women who receive special training.
When I'm older, I would also like to be a teacher and teach the children. At the creche, they give us food and medicines. All the children know each other because we all have traveled from one building site to another together.
After lunch, her sisters stay on at the creche, and Sangeeta goes off to school, which she attends for only 4 hours a day. At best, this provides for only the most rudimentary education.
After school, I look after my sisters until my parents come back from work. Later, I come home and take my dinner. And then I do my homework. And then I go to sleep.
Religion is integral to life in India. I asked Sangeeta about which deity she believed in.
Mahalakshmi cha.
I pray to Mahalakshmi for energy and mental strength. I believe in the God. God gives us energy. God says that you should be a good man.
If you had lots of money, what would you buy?
I would have jewelry, bangles, and make lace and clothes. And I would like to live in an apartment like my parents built. I think I will get married. When I'm older, my mother will arrange. But I would like to wait until I'm older, maybe 12. My husband should not be an alcoholic. He should have a nice job. I want to have 2 children, one a boy and one a girl. I would like to say to children everywhere that you should live like nice children. Take an education and get a good job.
I decided to go to another of the world's oldest civilizations, where there has always been poverty passed on from one generation to the next. There's been social change in Egypt in recent years, but in Upper Egypt especially, poverty has actually got worse in the last 10 years, and the number of children who work and don't go to school is still far too high. The Egyptian Association for Comprehensive Development provides assistance for many families in Cairo. I went with Sami from the association to meet 9-year-old Shady in a suburb on the outskirts of Cairo. We found him playing football in a little street outside his house.
Shady Muhammad.
My name is Shady Muhammad, and I'm 9 years, 6 months old. I got 7 brothers and sisters.
فاطمة عندها 12 سنة، وجيدة عندها 5 سنين، أنا عندها 10 سنين.
This is my house.
Okay, and if you'd like to go inside?
The house was cool, but like so much of suburban Cairo, it felt unfinished.
Here I sleep in one bed with one sister. 2 other sisters sleep in the other bed. My older brother Ahmed sleeps outside on the porch. My other brother Muhammad sleeps in another house. This is where my mother and my stepfather and my little brother sleep.
There's only one tap in their home. Shady told me that his religion is important to him, and although slightly embarrassed in front of my camera, he agreed to show me how he first washes himself, then kneels in prayer.
I feel there is a God, and I pray for him and I love him. I pray for success in school and in life.
I wanted to ask Shady what he would do if he had more money, but my translator refused to ask him. She didn't want to sow the seeds of discontent, she said. So, trying to find out more about Shady, I asked him what was his favorite kind of food.
Fried potatoes.
هنعمل بطاطس مقلية دلوقتي للغدا وهنطبخ بقى حاجة تانية للعشاء.
My mother speaks to me in a very good way. When she asks if I want something, she's always ready to do it for me.
بلعب مع أصحابي كورة خلاويص.
My favorite game to play with my friends is called The King.
There are no playgrounds or parks, so the children play in the dusty alleyways. I asked him about the future. Did he want to marry and have children?
Oh, of course.
لا ما أعرفش.
I'm going to marry, but I'm only going to have one child.
ما بحبش أنا العيلة.
I don't like a lot of children at home.
I asked, would he like to travel?
بحب كله.
I like my home. I want to stay here. The only thing I don't like is all the flies.
And do you help out at home?
ساعات بتوجع صابون.
When there's money, I bring everything for my mother from the local shop. I buy things like rice and soap and anything she wants from the shop.
I asked him what job he'd like to do when he grows up.
ساعات أشتغل في القهوة.
I have a lot of choices. I could be a carpenter or work in a cafe, maybe my own cafe. Or I could be a mechanic.
There are many different types of poverty. Perhaps through a child's eyes, poverty is more difficult to live with in a wealthy country, because they often see the many contrasts around them. I wanted to talk to a child in America to find out about institutionalized poverty there. In possibly the world's wealthiest country, poverty is actually on the rise. 34.6 million people, 1 out of every 8 Americans lives in poverty. That's 1.7 million more than last year and 3 million more than 2 years ago. But statistics don't tell the whole story. You need to walk in a New York street to see what it truly means to be poor in the United States of America. And like other countries, poverty often gets handed down from one generation to the next.
So, my name is Justine Torres, and I live in Burnside, New York. So, I like to behave good, not behave bad. Say that.
Here, put this in your pocket. There you go. St. Christopher's pencil.
Through St. Christopher's Inc., an organisation that works with children and families in crisis, I had met Justine and her mother. They had lived in the La Casita hostel run by St. Christopher's for 3 years, trying to break the cycle of substance abuse.
Where's the jean little bag?
Oh, I put more pennies in there. I said to give it to them.
Why haven't you given the pennies?
I'm trying
That's
to
for
put
the
it
kids for Christmas, Justine.
For a month, they had been building a new life together in a new home provided for them by St. Christopher's.
La Casita 3. It's a place that it teaches you things like what you should not do in life or what you should do, like you shouldn't smoke because that's bad. You shouldn't drink because that's bad. You should skip those things and go on your life, because if you do, then you get drunk, then you be selling cigarettes and all that, and it's not good.
Can you tell us...
So they show you good stuff.
Thank you. Tell us how long you were there.
I was there 3 years. You had to do a lot of stuff. You had to do functions. You had to clean the wall on Saturdays. You had to do GI, and it was hard. And in the morning, we had to get up at 6 o'clock. And then we had to go to breakfast. Then we came up and got ready. And then we went to school.
Now, out in the world together, Justine and her mother set out each day to school on a journey that takes them the best part of an hour.
Now, first we take the 4 to 149th Street. Then we take the 2 to Prospect and get off there. And you see the school. And the school is right there, so my mom drops me off. And I say goodbye, and then we do work upstairs. Going to school is important because you learn stuff and you get smarter. You go to better, you get better grades. You go to higher grade levels. And if you don't go to school, then you live in the streets. And nobody wants to do that because it's not good. Then you get drunk and everything. And I wouldn't like to do that.
Justine's brother Christian lives with his father. Once a week, she goes with her mother to their apartment.
This is her brother.
Sometimes I get lonely because Christian, he's always loud.
This is out of budget cards.
Oh, cool. And when he's not there, I'll be like, oh my God, someone. But then when he's there, I have a lot of fun.
No, the juice is all over here, Mom.
Oh, let's go take a pizza.
Money is always tight and a constant source of discussion. In this land of plenty, in Justine's world, it's more about what you can't have rather than what you can have.
Sometimes she get me stuff, but if she don't have money, then she don't have money that much.
Elio's, all right then. You said Gio.
All right, Capri, look, $1.99. Listen, the Capri, they have a $1.99. Go for the $1.99.
Right there, Mom.
All right, so get it.
Oh my goodness, this is only $12.99 for this whole thing.
No, it's not.
$12.99.
Yes, it is. $13.
The magic jewel thing. Decorate Barbie's here. The dolls don't come with that.
That's $12.99 for
See, dolls not included.
Sometimes I can't have what I want, and sometimes I can't have the way I want it. Sometimes I have to make a bridge and get over it, because it's the right thing to do instead of complaining and complaining and complaining over and over.
With Christmas coming, Justine's thoughts turn to God and Jesus.
I think he's always there to help us, always there to teach us, always everything, because he was the one that made us. Actually, I think he helped me because sometimes your dream comes true sometimes.
When I arrived in Romania, it was the week before Christmas and snow was falling heavily. This is one of Europe's poorest countries. 30% of the population lives in poverty, and those with jobs are generally poorly paid. Romania has an estimated 100,000 children orphaned and in institutions. Many more, like 10-year-old Florin, live with their parents, but are fed, clothed and educated by charities and non-government organizations. I met Florin at the Gavroche Center, which looks after disadvantaged children in Bucharest.
Numele meu este Dinca Florin și am 11 ani.
My name is Florin.
Am ajuns acum 3 ani.
I'll be coming to the Gavroche for 3 years.
Florin was curious about what this was all about. I told him I was making a film about children living in poverty to find out how they could be helped. He told me,
Cei oamenii care au prea mult nu dau ce săraci sunt
The rich people have money,
la copii, nu mai vrea să aibă.
but they don't want to give.
Oamenii săraci nu au, dar ar vrea să.
The poor people don't have money, but sometimes they want to give.
Acest cămin este foarte bine pentru că îmi dă mâncare, mă întâlnesc.
It's very nice here, and I'm very happy because they give me food, clothes, and they pay for me to go to school.
Diferențele este că aici e făcută la micro.
I like to eat here.
Nu face mai bună.
At home is not electricity to heat the food.
Îmi place să mă joc foarte mult FIFA, fotbal și să...
I like to play football games and shooting games on the computer.
this old machine at the Gavroche is the only access to computers that Florin has. There is often a fee to attend school. This creates yet another poverty trap for many families. If they can't afford to go to school, the children can't get the education that will contribute to getting a job, and so the poverty cycle continues. Florin reluctantly took me to his home to meet his mother and father. Reluctantly, because he was ashamed of where he lived.
Să eat
here.
They eat too. And here at Florin's tiny house, he showed me where all the electricity had been cut off because his father had no money to pay the bill. So there was no lighting and no heating.
They don't have money to pay the light because they don't work, no?
The best that Florin's father can do right now is occasional work helping a woman with her flower stall.
In here we all live, and my mother and my father, they sleep here as well.
The home consisted of 2 tiny rooms.
In here I share a bed with 2 of my brothers. The one who is 23 lives in another home. These are my 2 oldest brothers.
The winters can be made more miserable because of the intense cold. In the capital, Bucharest, temperatures can fall below minus 29 degrees centigrade. Today in Florin's house, it's freezing.
La oala de mâncare, du-te să vezi ce ai de mâncare.
What is that? Even the soup sitting in the kitchen was cold.
Ia lingura și...
Soup, everyday soup, eh?
The house is small, but it is a home, and I stay together with my parents.
There was also no running water in the house.
I like animals. At home I have a cat called Mishu and a dog called Bobica.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, but sometimes he forgets us.
Do you help out at home?
Eu nu prea, că nu stau acasă, fug de acasă, mă duc la fotbal, că nu...
I don't like to stay at home.
Nu sunt obișnuit să stau acasă.
I always go outside to play football,
Nu am răbdare.
even it's raining or snowing.
Florin lives for only one thing, football. He plays football whenever he can. When he's not playing, he thinks about it all the time. His favourite team is Bucharest Dinamo, and his dream is to play for them one day.
My favorite thing in the world is to play football. I like dribbling, passing and scoring goals. I want to be the best in the team.
Echipa mea favorită este Dinamo și aș vrea să...
Dinamo is the best football team in the world.
Dinamo este campioană...
They are the greatest.
Și am fost la...
I'm very good at football, except when we play against boys who are older and bigger.
I asked Florin what he would do if he had a lot of money.
Primul rând m-aș scrie la un...
I would put a light in our house, because we don't have any lighting or heating.
Bani mamei mele să-și de îmbrăcat, să luăm...
And I'd give money to my mother to buy clothes.
Să ia de mâncare, să dăm drumul și la gaze, ca să fie...
And I buy food and windows and beds. When I grow up, I'm going to be a football player. I'm going to play football for money.
I left one of the poorest countries in Europe to travel to one of the poorest countries in Asia, Cambodia. Poverty has always been endemic here, even before the Khmer Rouge brought Cambodia to its knees. I landed in the capital Phnom Penh and headed to Siem Reap near Angkor Wat, to the village where 9-year-old Lamom lives. Although the country's economy has improved in recent years, I was staggered to hear that more than a third of the population managed to survive on less than $1 a day. And that means that nearly half of all Cambodian children are malnourished, and 1 in 8 dies before their 5th birthday. The rudimentary hut where Lamom lives is typical of many families in Cambodia. They have no furniture or furnishings. They have no electricity and no running water.
My name is Lamom. I live here with my grandmother. I have 4 brothers and sisters, but they live in another village.
She and her grandmother are supported by the organisation Krusar Tamay.
The first thing we do at the morning is we clean the house. We make a fire and prepare our food. Mostly what we eat is rice. Sometimes we have a little bit with it like a fish or egg. We don't eat the duck because we can't afford to buy them. I love my grandmother and she loves me. We are all we got.
After Lamom's father died in an accident, her mother never recovered and also died within a few months. Her brothers and sisters now live with family in another village. And she lives quietly and simply with only her grandmother. They show me how they roll up the mosquito net and the thin mat that they sleep on. These are practically their only possessions.
I brush my hair to go out with my grandmother.
I hadn't realised that Lamom had actually dressed in her best clothes to meet me. Lamom goes to a farm on the other side of their village. I walked along the paths with them carefully because there are still numerous undiscovered landmines. The local farmer gives Lamom's grandmother a little money or some rice in exchange for pounding to a pulp the onions for the feed for his animals. It's the very basic needs of life that occupy her, spending hours preparing animal feed, pumping water, carrying it back to her house. Lamom only owns 3 changes of clothing, including her school uniform, so clothes washing is a frequent event. Lamom is a Buddhist. She told me her father was killed when a tree fell on him. I asked her what she thought happens to us when we die. I don't know, she said. I don't think about those things. Lamom changes into her uniform and heads off to school. The school was next door to a temple. The children in Siem Reap either go to school in the morning or the afternoon. When I met Lamom, she was going in the afternoons. But today, there are no teachers because they haven't been paid for 3 months. But Lamom is a keen student.
I like to practice my reading. I haven't thought about getting married. Maybe yes when I'm older. And probably children too.
Today, the representative from the children's charity Krusar Tamay arrives to see how Lamom is doing. Without the help of Krusar Tamay, Lamom couldn't afford to go to school, and her future would be even bleaker. He also checks her progress at school and offers her encouragement. He's brought some special things, some school books, and a new t-shirt and a pair of shorts. Like the other children, I ask Lamom what she would do if she had a lot of money. Her answer takes me by surprise. I'd like to own a guest house, she says. I'll be keeping my fingers crossed for Lamom. I decided to go to sub-Saharan Africa, to an area that almost defines poverty. Rwanda, like Cambodia, has suffered from colonization and genocide. And similarly, poverty has always been a fact of life here. Here, the majority of the population somehow managed to struggle by on less than $1 a day, and sometimes nothing at all. I travelled to Kibuye to meet a very shy 9-year-old boy called Toto. He lives in a small village of a few mud brick houses. Toto wasn't sure about me, but he tentatively invited me into the house to meet his mother Donatella, because Claudette from the Barakabaho Foundation was with me. Toto has a sister and 2 brothers. Donatella has also adopted another girl. She copes alone after her husband was killed. I also discovered that others lived in the house. The smell inside from the family's goats was overwhelming.
My name is Toto. I live with my mother. Her name is Donatella. I study at primary school and I have some friends in my village. It rains many days in my country.
There are 2 rainy seasons, with an average rainfall of between 900 and 1600 millimeters.
In the morning, we roll up our sleeping mats and put them away.
There was no lighting in this mud brick house, and it took a while for my eyes to adjust to the dark.
Every day I go with my brother to get water near my house. I have many jobs to do.
Toto takes great care with the goats because they are their only source of income.
Mano, oya, kumuru manuk. Usa no jahe.
Donatella tells the children to come and wash.
When we finish our jobs, we all prepare our foods. My sister and I then we go and cook the food in the village cookhouse. We eat mostly sweet potatoes and beans. Sometimes have some banana or corn.
I watched as they ate the only meal of their day. Donatella waited. She would eat if there was anything left over for her.
When it's not raining, I like to go to the lake with my friends and fish or go swimming. When I'm older, I would like to be a teacher, have a house, get married, and have some children.
I left Toto to play the same chasing game that children everywhere seem to play, and travelled to the last continent on my journey, South America. The Copacabana beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, is one of the world's best-known playgrounds. But on the hillsides overlooking the beach, there are other famous Brazilian landmarks, the slums, which are known as favelas. This is where 1/3 of Rio's population of 8 million people live. A 9-year-old girl called Tamiris wanted to show me her home and tell me what life is like for her and her family. In addition to living in poverty, Tamiris has another problem to deal with. This is a very violent place because drug mafias control the favelas. There is an extremely high murder rate, and many innocent adults and children get caught in the middle between the gangs' gun battles. It can be dangerous to just walk in the streets, take the children to school, or even stand near the window. I was warned to be careful about where I pointed my camera in case a drug gang member thought I had a gun and he decided to shoot first.
My name is Tamiris, eu moro aqui nessa casa.
My name is Tamiris da Conceição Mourão.
E tem 10 anos. Aqui dali é minha mãe.
I live here with my parents,
Pai, Ramiro Bezerra Mourão. O nome da minha mãe.
my sister, my brother, his wife, and my nephews.
Para você lavar a louça. E a pia é muito alta. Esse aqui, ó. Esse é melhor.
Does she help her mother at all in any way around the house?
E lavar a louça.
E você às vezes ajuda sua mãe nas coisas da casa? Varrer a casa, às vezes limpar o fogão.
I help sweep the
A
floor,
louça na pia.
wash the dishes, clean the oven, and clean up my things.
Pegar a esponja aqui. Bota detergente.
After my jobs are done, I have time to play.
São palavras diferentes. Você está feliz?
My favorite game is to play teacher. It's my favorite thing. I love playing teacher. Sometimes I play doctor, but I love playing teacher.
Eu tô falando contigo, não tô falando com outra pessoa não. Tô falando contigo, presta atenção. Você não tá prestando
Tamira's dreams of a room of her own. The room that Tamira says is going to be her bedroom is actually the size of a closet. But she's got very definite ideas about the colours. Blue and pink, she tells her father. Yes, he says, but he's not sure where the money will come from for the paint. Even though he works late into the night in a pizzeria, there's only enough money for the bare essentials. There's no money for any extras like paint. So in the meantime, Tamira continues to sleep in the same bed as her mother and father.
Eu vou botar a cômoda e a televisão lá.
I like to play outside, she said, but often I'm too afraid. Just a few days before, she'd opened her front door in the morning to find a dead body outside her house.
Mas são muitas coisas, né? Esses negócios.
I'm worried about all the shooting. And my father always comes home at 1 or 2 in the morning. I'm always very worried about him because of all the violence.
When they feel that it's safe, the children play outside.
And does she have many friends here, and can she tell us their names?
Tenho na escola, tenho Juliana.
My friends are Juliana, Joyce, Viviane e Carol.
They seemed like pretty normal kids to me, but the smiles on the children's faces hid many things. Tamira's has reached the age where she's begun to realise that the poverty and violence around her could conspire to rob her of her dreams. However, there is one bright new aspect to Tamira's life. An organisation called the Afro-Indian Kids from Brazil has been set up by Britta to give hope to the children of the favelas. Britta was once one of Brazil's top models and actresses. Today she dedicates her life to working with these children. She organises outings to get the kids out of the favelas and has now begun to teach the children English, which could give them more opportunities in life. Tamira's is a keen student.
What I like best about school is the teachers because they respect you. My favorite subject is Portuguese because there is a lot of easy things in Portuguese. My father picks me up from school because it's so dangerous and we walk home together. We stay home and watch TV when we hear the shootings. When I get home, my mother kisses me and says, "God bless you." And then I'm happy.
Porque eu gosto muito do meu pai.
I really love my mom and dad. And I've always respected them a lot, as a daughter should. And they've always respected me.
With all the violence and death around her, I asked her, did she believe in God?
Deus, eu acredito em Deus, eu creio muito em Deus.
Yes, I believe in God.
E eu também, ele vai ajudar na minha vida, no meu futuro.
I believe that He will lead me to a good way.
Coisas assim boas, como ele.
And I'll get from Him good things that are good for me.
São pessoas muito maravilhosas.
like the love of my parents.
Because television is her escape, I asked Tamiris about the things she sees there. What is it like for her not to be able to afford those things?
Eu não fico assim triste, eu fico pensando na minha cabeça que eu não posso comprar aquilo.
I look at it and I think I would like it.
Tamiris, mas a gente não pode fazer o quê?
But my mother says I can't have it.
Porque a gente não pode. Se a gente tivesse, a gente ia comprar pra você.
So if I can't have it, I can't have it.
So, what about the future?
Imagino muita coisa, mas muita coisa bonita dentro da minha casa.
Yes, I just think I would like to have my house with a lot of beautiful things.
So, what have I learned from my journey to meet these children? From talking with Sangeeta, Shady, Justine, Florin, Lamom, Toto, and Tamiris. That most of the 1.1 billion people living in dire poverty on every continent are children. That it isn't just about money, it's about human dignity. It's also about many other things like basic education and nutrition and health. I've seen how poverty is transmitted from one generation to the next. And I've seen that, while in their innocence, children may often find a way to play, without help, for most of them their future is bleak. I've also become aware how easy it is to ignore their plight. But I've learned one other thing, that it is possible to do something which will improve the quality of their lives. And our own dignity demands that we continue to do something, anything, to help them.
En una casinha branca, na marinha entre os loureiros, tenho amores, tenho barcas e estou vivendo no Alelo, ay, la, la, lo. Ay, la, lelo, ay, la, la, lo. Ay, la, lelo,